Hey everyone, welcome back. It's a new episode of the 13th Man podcast. This is what our third or fourth live stream since we started doing this.
If you don't want to count our little offshoot episodes, which we've done, then
Two
I
of so far.
guess number 3. I don't know. This is episode 43. I don't know. 43.
Oh damn!
It's hard to keep the numbers straight at this point.
Yeah, that's for sure. But thank you everyone for joining in. It's as always, we couldn't do it without you. So thank you for joining in, and hopefully you all had a great weekend of football. I know for me it was a lot closer. Some of the scores were kind of surprising. A lot closer for some games than I would have liked.
I gotta say, we got a lot to talk about this episode with some of the CFL news that we've gotten on. Justin Dunk today reporting that there's news that a name has been brought up for the next commissioner of the CFL. We've got some COVID news with the NFL that I think is very interesting. We've got an inevitable rant about NFL officiating from me. That's definitely coming. And then we got our pick'em. It's a busy little episode today.
Yeah, I've been at work all day, so I have no idea about this Justin Dunk news. I'm trying to catch up.
Well, if you want to get into that, we have been informed.
Oh, I just saw it. It was yesterday. His article came out yesterday.
So Ken Darrett is being discussed as the next possible commissioner of the CFL, and it's a really weird conversation that we're having at this point. It's very weird to me that we're having owners talk about Randy Ambrosie's replacement, and it almost feels like there's not a chance that Randy Ambrosie is the commissioner of the CFL for the start of the 2021 season. That's how this feels to me.
Not gonna lie, if they go to their 19th commissioner, nothing's gonna change.
Well, that's exactly what I'm thinking, right? Like, what exactly does playing musical chairs with, or moving around the deck chairs in the Titanic, what does that do? It's a sinking ship. There's something structurally wrong, and it's not. You can't just pull out a cork and plug the hole.
Yeah, and you can't blame a commissioner for it.
No,
that's not how things work.
And that's, really what this is going to bring up is our next fan bait segment. So we'll leave that up. Will the CFL have a new commissioner by the start of the 2021 season? Right now, my answer is yes.
See,
I think it doesn't change anything. That's the problem. It will happen. I think Randy Ambrosie's days as the commissioner of the CFL are probably done. With the way things have been looking here, I think the owners are about done with it.
See, I don't think the owners are. I don't think the owners are about done with it. I think, because to be fair, no one's really been voted out. Aldridge, I think, stepped down. The guy before
Orange stepped down after 2 years.
No one has actually been kicked out as commissioner over the last couple of them. They've all stepped down. So either, two things come to mind with that. Either they feel like they're banging their head against the wall, again, with the owners, and they're just, it's a simple case of it's not worth it. It's not worth dealing with this ownership group, the owners of the league. 2, or it's on either it's that, or the CFLPA is nothing but a hassle to work with, or 3, it's a combination of the two, where it's not worth the job. It's not worth the stress and the headache that the job brings you.
Well, there's nothing that you can do to do this job well, other than turn the CFL into the NFL, which we all know was never going to happen. That's literally the only way you can be successful at being the commissioner of the CFL. The league is always on this failing trajectory, and I don't think that's ever going to change.
No, it's definitely going to change, and it's not always. This failing trajectory didn't happen until the 90s, when for some reason they decided, hey, we're going to expand. Expanding to the States was the worst thing they did. It put them back the 8 ball quite a bit, because they didn't do anything besides just expand. There was nothing else to it.
Now, let me ask you, because I'm going to go way back to episode probably 1 or 2, where you talked about the CFL's marketing ability and stuff, and you said that going to the States would be beneficial. Do you still think that, or is it a case of it has to be done right?
It has to be done right. It's probably like one of the few things that you can, if you mess up, like if you really mess up on bringing the CFL to the States, you're going to destroy the league.
No, absolutely. And that's...
With that being said, though, it can be done properly. There is a market for football outside of the NFL. There is a market for it. You know, it's just a matter of what you do. How do you take control of it?
I gave you a little bit of an easy out there too, because I pretty much answered your my question for you by giving you your answer, I guess. But yeah, I don't like. It's kind of impossible for nothing that Ambrosi did this year was gonna result in any positivity, right? Like I don't think that there was a scenario that the CFL would have been able to play this year without government help, or at least they didn't want to play without government help because they didn't want to fund that big of a loss, right? Like you can't lose that. You can't go spending money with the intention of losing that much money with no long-term gain because of it. And I think that's where they little stumbling block this year. And I think overall financially it was better to not play this year. But obviously now people are pissed off. People wanted CFL football this year. People were mad at Randy Ambrosi because he didn't play. And yeah, I think there's going to be owners that share that sentiment. Like the owners that wanted to play this year, they're not going to be happy with Ambrosi. They're not going to be happy with the way that they went about this.
No, but if here's the thing: is the owners of the teams, wanted to play, then go into revenue sharing or shut the fuck up. It's that simple. All these leagues have thrived under revenue sharing, but the CFL refuses to go into it. You want to help Toronto, you want to help BC, you want to help Montreal. Then unfortunately, Saskatchewan, Edmonton, Ottawa, Hamilton are going to have to pay a little bit. They're going to have to they're going to have to lose some money personally to help those markets grow.
But in a year where I think it was Edmonton who paid Montreal $900,000 last year and made barely a profit themselves. Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's how you grow the league. That's how the NBA, the NHL, the MLB, and the NFL have all grown. Revenue sharing is the way to grow a league. It's just the way it is.
I agree with you.
CFL wants to go into it because you're not worried about your individual revenue at that point. You're not. Your revenue is as a league, not as individual teams. There's too much individuality with the CFL. It's too much Edmonton, Calgary, not enough CFL. And that's why the CFL is a joke.
I would agree with you in a normal situation. But this year, nobody's going to make money,
but then if
the Saskatchewans, the Edmontons, Calgarys, and Ottawas of the league won't be making the money to fund a team that's bottoming out, like the Owls or the Argos.
Yeah, but if you did this, if you were to do this on an every year basis, you wouldn't have this worry. There wouldn't be this worry of teams being like, okay, yeah, we're all going to lose, but I'm not going to lose as much as, Team A. And that's the problem, is that you have these teams who can't afford to play because they barely make money on a regular year versus teams who can because they do. And if you have revenue sharing, all these problems go away. Not all of them, but like that problem goes away because you're all partaking in the success of the league instead of like three markets who are basically just like, you guys suck. We're just going to have it all over here.
But you know what this comes down to again, and what this just reiterates? Switching your commissioner doesn't solve the problem. There's more to it than just your commissioner. And the commissioner has been the scapegoat for years with the CFL. Eventually, Like,
let's be honest, the commissioner is the scapegoat of every league.
oh yeah, absolutely. But like, you don't see Gary Bettman getting fired. You don't see oh my god, why do I forget his name?
For what league? What,
The NFL, the
Silva?
clown guy.
Oh, Goodell.
Yes. I kept thinking Belichick for some reason, but I know it wasn't him. Like, you don't see him getting fired. Rob Manfred should get fired. We'll be fair there. He should. But the big three of the big four leagues have a hated commissioner, but a very solid commissioner. And that's exactly what it takes that, but it also takes a viable league as well.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we don't have a viable league because people don't really. Players are pissed, and fans much rather support the player. And honestly, I'm gonna be very honest. If they go to if they fire or push out
Ambrosi,
I give the league like 5 years before it collapses on itself. I don't think it'll make it past this decade if they fire Ambrosi. It's that simple. If they do, I'll eat my words, but I don't see it happening.
The more I think about it too, like the more that I'm kind of amazed that they've made it to this point, right? We've seen the XFL fold twice, we've seen the AAF fold once. We've seen all these other leagues come in and not make it. I almost like. I know you say the league won't make it past 5 years. I'm at this point like it's like you can try to kill it as much as you want, but it's just going to find a way to come back. And I think the only thing that kills the CFL right now is if they can't play with fans in the stands at all next year. I think that's the only way this league is dead. And even if that does happen, Shane, I think that they'll just shut it down, and I think they'll put everything back together again when they can bring fans back into the stands.
Because you're going to lose interest.
But cities don't want. Well, honestly, maybe if the football goes away for a couple of years, they bring it back. Maybe you have that interest again. Maybe, hell, I know you're going to hate me for saying this. Maybe you bring it back as American football.
See, but I don't even think American football is that, like, I think if you actually talk to a lot of people, American football is boring. The American football game, the rules, the way it's structured is boring. If you were to bring down, like, I hate 4-down football. I've played 4-down football. I hate it. I think the thing that pisses me off with the NFL. Let's take, you have teams scoring like 30 points and whatnot. You have all these yards. You have 4 downs to get a first down. You see these 3 and outs. You see how shit do you have to be? You can't gain 10 yards in 3 attempts. Like, realistically, like, personally, I think 4 downs, you're a cop-out. You're not that good. It's not that you're shit. You need 4 downs to get 10 yards. Like,
I mean, I think I don't know. I won't say that because I've been very entertained by the NFL so far. And I won't say I've been entertained by the Bills. I've been...
Okay, are you entertained by the NFL? Or are you entertained with football? Because personally, I'm entertained with football being back because I haven't had football since February. So personally, as a football fan, I've been liking the NFL because it's football. If there was a CFL, if the CFL was going on and this was just a regular year, I wouldn't be this involved. Like, I would not be this focused on the NFL. I wouldn't care about every game. I wouldn't care about the scores. I wouldn't care about how the season's shaping up and how players are doing.
But that's where you and me are different because I'm head over heels into pretty much every, like, I was super into the AAF too. The XFL not so much. I didn't care because I knew it would fail.
I like the NFL. I find their games boring. I find their games incredibly boring to watch. If you take out the pregame, postgame, and halftime and just watch the games, they're boring. They're short. Like, kickoff. Just get rid of the kickoff. Realistically, just fucking get rid of it. It's commercial kickoff commercial. You run 3 plays, you 3 and out, punt it, or fuck it, 3 and out, you kick it, a commercial, and it's like the reason why the NFL has made so much money is because it's like YouTube ads. It's like ads on YouTube. You ever watch a 20, 30, 40-minute episode, like YouTube video, and you have to skip like 10 ads? Like ad pops up every like 5 minutes, and you just hate watching the video at that point. It's the same way with the NFL for me. I'm watching ads being interrupted by a football game. That's how I feel about the NFL, like on any given year.
That I agree with. Like, there's honestly the thing that drives me insane with the NFL is it's just that we have a kickoff that goes out the back of the end zone after a commercial break, and we go directly back to commercial break. Where is the logic in that? There was no football played there.
You know what's funny though? Like what's actually like entertaining when all this happens is they say that collision, like big injuries and whatnot, for on kickoffs and whatnot, unnecessary injuries. You know why those unnecessary injuries happen? Because we don't see them very often. These unnecessary injuries on special teams, we don't see them in the CFL because we have a 5-yard rule. There is no way that you're kicking. I think you're kicking from your own 25 in the CFL, and having that extra 10 yards
35.
make a difference.
35.
35?
Yeah.
I mean, those extra 10 yards, you may as well be kicking from your 25.
Right.
But and then on a punt, you have your 5 yards. So it's not a collision course. It's a proper tackle. So maybe, just maybe, instead of the fair catch rule or these touchbacks everywhere, bring in the 5 yards.
Well,
move your end zone back.
You don't even have to move your end zone back.
I just think move the kickoff back. Move the kickoff because they're kicking from what? They're 35. They're 45. Something like that now.
35.
Like, move it back to the 25.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't care with the kickoffs. Just stop putting commercials before and after kickoffs.
See, I do, because kickoffs. This is the thing that like kind of pisses me off. We saw it in Monday night's game, right? We saw it with the Ravens and the Chiefs, where Ravens had a kick return for a touchdown. We had last year? There was 8 straight weeks where there was a punt or a kickoff return back for a touchdown in the CFL.
Sure, we'll go with it.
It was something like that. It was ridiculous. It makes special teams really really a part of the game.
Well, it gives guys like Brandon Banks or Deontay Spencer an easy into the league, right?
Well, not even that. It matters. You could win a game off your special teams. In the NFL, special teams, they make big plays here and there, but you're not game planning around a returner. You're not game planning around this guy who can bring back any punt for a touchdown. So it's just like here, Deontay Spencer looks nothing like the returner that we saw in Ottawa because he isn't given an actual opportunity to show his skills as a returner in the NFL.
Well, that's it.
Devin Hester, probably one of the best return guys, or Deion Sanders. If those guys were in the CFL, they would hold records for punt, like your return yards, return touchdowns, all those stuff, because they would have been able to actually have a legitimate chance to return the ball on a kick.
Now, to get back to this point was, though, I believe this started as me saying if the CFL goes away for a couple of years, you come back as American football, maybe that sparks your interest. And Shane, the reason I said that is because let's say you walked into a classroom full of high school kids who like football right now, right? You tell them, I'll take you all to the Red Blacks game tonight. Fair chance, a lot of them would say, no, I don't like the CFL. And why is that? Because they've been watching American football their whole life. They don't want to give Canadian football a chance. And that's an issue. Would it be unfortunate to see Canadian brand of football go by the wayside because the younger generations don't want to learn it? It would. But it might be your best business model going forward.
See, I don't think so. I don't think, because if you get here's the problem. And this is where I think you're falling into the whole media, like the American media juggernaut, is if you were to take away all production from the NFL and you tell a kid or a teenager, hey, watch this with no production, and then watch the CFL with no production, I guarantee you they would prefer the CFL football over the NFL football. The NFL football is not that fun to watch. And I think that's why the CFL, when you're talking to someone, hey, have you been to a Red Blacks game? And they're like, oh, no, like, I'm not a huge fan. 9 times out of 10, most people are like, oh, well, you have to go to a game. It's just like OHL hockey. You have to go to a game because the production value, it doesn't give it glory. It doesn't give the game day atmosphere justice. If the TSN, Sportsnet, whoever were to increase their production value, increase the marketing, I give it 5-10 years before the CFL in Canada is up there with the NFL in terms of views, in terms of hype, in terms of likability. The CFL is right there. Because we have to remember that there was a time where the CFL was the better of the two leagues. It wasn't until the mid-'80s where the NFL started to take advantage of the whole media stuff that they really took off.
Now, how do we get there, though? Like, what is it about the presentation of the NFL that has the CFL beat? I mean, you can watch a game.
So you have your own network. You have your own fucking day.
You could make the argument that TSN is the CFL's network. So, but not really, since they don't give a fuck about it. Let's be honest. TSN doesn't actually care about the CFL outside of CFL season. Like, let's be honest here. They do not care. You know, you have the NFL network. You have a fucking day. You have a day on a calendar. You have Sunday. The NFL is Sunday. You have marketed it in a way that, hey, NFL football is Sunday. Sunday is meant for God and NFL football. That is what it's meant for. And that's how they've marketed it. That's how they've marketed it for years, and people have just latched onto it. If the CFL really wants to do something, you market Friday or Saturday. You say, or Wednesday night. Fuck it. Wednesday night game, because you don't have Sunday games. So playing a Wednesday game after playing a Friday game isn't that bad. Well, it is when you're trying to get people into the building.
I mean, people would still go if it's in the summer.
Right, but you're trying to market yourself towards families, as you are right now.
And I guarantee you that during a middle July, middle August night game, that they would have no issue going to. An October night game on a Wednesday night, probably not. But there's no difference between a Wednesday night and a Thursday night in the summer.
There is. So I'll give you an example. So let's say this family, the mom works at 6 a.m, the dad works at 6 a.m, kid's got to be at daycare by 5 a.m. So that's still going to be a tough turnaround.
So what's the difference between having a game on Thursday night and Wednesday night? If that's the same turnaround,
well, you don't have many Thursday games. Like, the Thursday games are also stupid. Just to say that
they're in the middle of the summer though, and you're not actually trying, but you're not trying to target families right now, and that's the problem. Is that you can target families all you want. The only way a family's coming out is if you have a 4 or a 1 o'clock game. Only way a family's really going to come out to a CFL game. Who you're targeting are guys like our age group, the 17 to 25-year-olds who have disposable income, who don't have, outside of work, they can maybe work around it. They don't have children that need to be in bed by 8 o'clock. Those are the people they need to start targeting. They don't need to target families with 3, 4, 5-year-olds, because most likely the parents have already been to the game, have already experienced the CFL game, have been CFL fans. What you want is to target the people who probably haven't grown up with CFL football. If you have kids right now, or in the next couple of years, if you're in your mid to late 20s, you have most likely experienced some sort of CFL football, depending on where you grew up.
You grew up in the West for sure.
But like you said, like you for example, you didn't start watching football until CFL football until 2014, right?
13.
When the Red Blacks came in.
Yeah. That's what started it for me.
So you're what, 19?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, yep.
You're the group that they want. Okay, see, I'm 23. I remember going to Frank Clair Stadium and watching the Renegades. You know, my first memory was going to a Winnipeg game, a matinee game. It was like 1:00 in the afternoon, sitting on the north side stands, watching the Renegades. That was my first memory. I remember I was, I don't know, 6 or 7 years old. I grew up watching CFL football. You started watching it when the Red Blacks came in. Those are the people you want to target. You want to target the people who started watching it when the team came to Ottawa, when the team came around. At least in Ottawa.
That's the tough thing, because I think I'll separate myself from the norm a little bit, because pretty much anything Ottawa sports I latch onto. Right? If there's a new sport in the city, I'm going to latch onto it. I've done it with rugby. I've done it with soccer a little bit. I'm going to do it with that baseball team when we get that. I did it with the Red Blacks. And I mean, I still kind of care about the Sens, even though I'm not a Sens fan. But for others, like, you know, Shane, the thing that I heard the most when I rolled up to school with my Henry Burris Red Blacks jersey on for the first time, I heard, wow, there's not a chance that team is going to make it 3 years.
Yeah,
from a lot of my teachers.
Because we don't have a good history.
I also heard from my from friends and, like, you know, other people in the school, wow, why would you watch a CFL game? The NFL is going to be on in a couple months. And I think that's your issue. It's hard to bring in new fans, especially kids who, you know, that age group. When you're talking about that age group, especially like if you go towards 17 range, those are the kids that are trying to fit in high school. Cheering for the CFL or being a CFL fan does not fit in. And that's one of the issues.
But it might be an issue. Personally, I found myself, I didn't care. It's sports.
That's the same with me, but I'll tell you what, I took a lot of heat for it.
But here's the thing. Ottawa doesn't have a really good history with sports teams. You know, we had the Tomahawk.
Our football history is bad, dude? Let's look at our baseball history.
You have baseball, you have soccer, you have football. You know, we have basketball. Like, we don't have that great of a history. Like, ownership side of things, we don't have that great of a history. But that's, you know why the NFL is so cool? Like, realistically, the only reason why the NFL is cool is because it's in people's faces. They
have a ton of money
because they've marketed it properly. You have fun. Okay, you have Patty Mahomes rocking Jordans. You have the biggest staple of youth everywhere is that Jumpman and that check. Those are the two biggest staples in sports for youth. I guarantee you go to school, how many people are rocking a Jordan or Nike gear? You know, that's why our polos are Nike. So realistically, if the CFL really wants to improve, as much as I love New Era, I'm a huge fan of them, huge supporter. Get rid of them. Go to Nike. Go to Jordan. Get it. Imagine the jerseys you would sell if you were to put a Jumpman logo on a CFL jersey.
I don't buy it. I don't buy that being the reason the NFL jerseys sell. NFL products, maybe, but did people not buy NFL jerseys when they were Puma or Starter?
Yeah, but this is different.
And it has nothing to do, like, I didn't buy my Bills jersey because it's a Nike jersey.
No, but there are people who will, and there are people who will watch. If you tell, okay, here's the thing, is if you tell someone, hey, okay, yo, the CFL is sponsored, like their sideline gear, all their sideline gear is Jordan. We've talked to Derek Dennis, we've talked to Jonathan Rose. They would love it. And those are the guys that kids connect with. Why do you think NBA players have such a grapple hold on, you know, media and kids? Like, it's the same thing. Is that if you want kids and teenagers to feel like the CFL is cool, you know, yeah, you want them to wear things that they think are cool, and that's Nike and Jordan. If you were to be like, okay, all Everyone here can wear, Jordan cleats, Jordan branded retro cleats, Jordan 1s, 13s, 11s, whatever. You have a Jordan like a Jordan hoodie, you have a Red Blacks Jordan hoodie or a Nike hoodie, like the NFL. People are gonna like it. People are gonna buy it. It's the same thing with the Jumpman. Like, brand identification is important, and the CFL has missed it. Even Adidas was shit because Adidas doesn't have the same kind of repertoire that the Nike or Jordan have in North America. And unfortunately, New Era is the same way. They're hats. If you ask anyone, what do you think of New Era? Like, what's the first thing that pops into your head when you think of New Era? Guarantee you, they say hats, not jerseys and clothing. It's hats.
It still won't be like the first thing somebody thinks of if they go. If you ask me, like let's say Nike made all the CFL stuff. What is Nike known for? Where's CFL on that list? Bottom. And I don't think that the brand that makes your jerseys or your apparel is going to matter until you find a way to stop being the tiny little league that nobody cares about. And I don't know how you're going to do that.
By going to Nike or Jordan, because then you're going to have you're going to have businesses like Normal or Champs or Foot Locker, those kind of businesses, the streetwear businesses where those are the target audience. Literally, if you go to a Foot Locker and you ask them who your target audience is, they're going to tell you 16 to 25. That's their target audience. The clothing, obviously, people older and younger wear it, but that's their target audience. Why would they? Why? Okay, but why you want your product in stores, right? You want your gear in stores. Why would Nike or why would Foot Locker, Champs, any of those stores want to buy New Era clothing? They don't sell New Era. They're not just going to sell a brand, a league that has a brand that they don't sell in general. If they had a Nike logo or a Jordan logo a logo that they already sell, that already makes them money, they would be more inclined to buy it because it has a logo that is trusted and is profitable. They don't need to buy a lot. They don't need to sell a lot in terms of quantity. But if I guarantee you, like, I've worked in those kind of shops. I have worked in those stores. I've worked in that environment. The amount of people who would come in being like, hey, do you have any Red Black gear? And I'd be like, no, I don't. Unfortunately not. You got to go to Sports Check or down to the arena. Guess what? No one's going to Sports Check at Bayshore or Rito. No one's going down to the arena for no reason to buy clothes. If you can get your stuff into those stores, your audience will improve and your audience will grow. The next thing you would have to get video games, but if you're going to look at apparel and getting apparel out there, you have to get into those stores.
This sounds like more of an agreement with stores. Like, if you're going to go the route of getting Nike because that's what you think is going to get you into the stores, you'd be better suited just to go to the stores and be, hey, we got all this stuff that we're looking to sell. We got a bunch of New Era apparel. Maybe you can go get New Era or a Nike to make you some hoodies or something, or some track jackets, something like, stuff like that. But I don't think you have to switch your entire jersey provider again just to get into stores.
You actually might. But again, it comes down to how confident these stores, these companies feel like New Era would sell. If they don't feel like New Era is going to sell, they're not going to bring it in. It's that simple.
Okay. We've spent.
And that's kind of the way they need to go. They can't continue to be in like 3 stores. Hell, I went into Lids the other day and there was nothing.
Lids has some Red Black stuff. Which one did you go to?
Bayshore. There was nothing.
Really?
There was nothing.
No,
there was some kid stuff. That was it. I did not see a single men's. I saw some hats, obviously. I'd hope so. But like in terms of clothing, I didn't see anything. It was all NFL, all MLB, and all NA or MLB, NBA, NHL, and NFL.
Shane, I know you're very passionate about the apparel stuff. We spent the better part of 35 minutes talking about. Somehow we got to apparel from a new commissioner being talked about. But I think one of the bigger things on the docket today is this right here. The Vikings and the Titans currently can't practice because of 8 positive COVID-19 tests from the Tennessee Titans. And it has the Steelers game, to your interesting question. And from what I've seen, Shane, I don't know how you're going to feel about this. What it sounds like is going to happen is if that game can't be played this week, it is going to be the Steelers' bye week, and they will not get another one the rest of the season.
Yeah, they're talking about either it being they're hoping the game can be played. They might flex it to a Monday night doubleheader kind of game, which I don't think will work as much as I would like it. Well, actually, it could work. It's in the Monday night games in San Francisco. It's at 8:20, so that's what 5:20 San Francisco time.
Yeah, realistically,
so you could flex it. So that's the thing, is that you could flex it.
The interesting thing here, though, is from what I understand, the Minnesota Vikings don't have a positive test as of yet. I'm going to assume that's not going to end up being the case, because when you're that close to players on the other team that have COVID, just going to go and assume that they probably do. I don't know if these games are getting played this week. I think the Vikings and the Titans games, I don't think those will happen. But at the same time, I'm also on the I'm thinking that possibly with the NFL being the way it is, what are the odds that the NFL just says, all right, you got to find the guys that don't have COVID, and you better go sign a bunch more players to fill your roster, and good luck, because you're playing this week.
Yeah, I don't know. I think personally, I want the game to be played. You have 2 3-0 teams going against each other. So what? Like, do you? But would that mean the Titans also get a bye week, and that would be the only bye week?
Yeah,
but that would make no sense, because what are they going to do? They have offsetting bye weeks. That makes no sense.
They'd have to get creative and flex some stuff around.
Because, well, no, it's not about just flexing. Oh, we're going to flex the time. The Titans bye week is week 7.
Yep.
The Pittsburgh bye week isn't I think until week 9 or 10. I think week 8. So
do you just have them play? Like when is the Vikings?
Okay, so technically, I don't know. The Titans bye week is either the only other option is that they move, they play on week 8, but that makes no sense. You would have the Titans playing twice.
Where can you tell me where the Vikings and the Texans bye week is?
I can definitely find out for you. The Vikings are week 7.
Okay, and that's the same as the Titans.
Yeah, and then week 8. So the Texans have the same. Texans and Steelers are on the same bye week.
And I know that those two teams have already played one another. I know that, but this is a different scenario. That I think is going to be your answer. I think the Texans and the Steelers will play again, and the Vikings and the Titans will play again.
But if
they don't go.
But that's saying you have to cancel 2 games.
You have to cancel 2 games, but then you also avoid the issue of the bye week.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that would be ideal. I don't think giving 4 teams week 3 bye or week 4 bye and having them play 12 weeks in a row is fair or ideal. Honestly, just say Titans forfeit the game. I don't think this is honestly straight up. If you really want to punish your teams, you forfeit the game, because why should the Steelers, Vikings, and Texans be punished for a Titans mistake? You have strict protocol.
So if we're being fair, we don't know that this was the Titans' mistake. This could have very well been the Vikings' mistake. They just don't know it yet, because I guarantee you the Vikings will have positives.
If the Vikings have positive, it's a little bit different. But if it's only the Titans that come back positive, You know, also, how deep are these positive tests? Like, where, like, you know, because if it's none of the players,
I think it's 8 players.
oh, then Vikings are definitely gonna get positive. Because if it's no players and all personnel, then you can make it work. You can make it work.
Well, it's 8 tests among players and staff.
Okay,
So
but they didn't because I didn't see them specify if it was 8 players or 8 personnel. It was just 8 people.
8 people that are on the field.
So, but if let's say it's all like personnel and unnecessary staff, you're good. Especially if the Vikings don't come back. Because here's the thing I would do is I would flex the game to Monday night anyways. I just say screw it, we're gonna play Monday night. Give the Titans a little bit of an extra day to kind of prepare and whatnot. But if the Vikings come back as all
Titans
negative,
can't go back to their building until Saturday.
Yeah. So I would flex the game till Sunday. Pittsburgh. I mean, sorry, Titans, like this, it just sucks for you. But if Vikings don't come back, if they all come back negative, and you have these 8 tests, I would have them screened on like Friday morning. If everyone but the 8 players, 8 people come back positive or come back negative, the game plays Monday night. I say screw it. Have a double header on Monday night. Because I don't think you play Sunday, whatever. That's not like I don't think they have any kind of weird game the next week for either team. Yeah, like you can play Monday night, you play against Sunday afternoon. Like it is what it is. That's usually how it goes. And that's the same thing with the Titans is that they play the following Sunday at 1:00 against the Bills.
Yeah.
So,
and I think absolute worst case scenario is, like I said, week 7, the Titans play the Vikings again, and then week 8, the Steelers play the Texans. Yeah, I think I said that right. But
yeah, we see a Titans versus Vikings rematch and a Texans versus Steelers rematch.
Yeah, I think that's absolute worst case scenario. Like you've got a built-in easy fix here. Worst case in this situation, like, I mean, worst case scenario is this spirals and everybody starts getting COVID. At which point, Shane, we will see McLeod Bethel Thompson in an NFL uniform, and you'll have to dye your hair pink. I haven't forgot about that.
That's fine.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I know you don't want to see it happen because you're a Steelers fan, right? You don't want your bye week in week 4. Nobody wants that. But unfortunately, like you look at baseball this year and how long the Cardinals missed. The Cardinals went 28 straight days without an off day, and then I think like 14 of those 28 days they had double headers or something like that. It was crazy. And I think unfortunately that's going to be the same gauntlet teams have to run in the NFL this year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like this one's frustrating because, like, obviously I'm a Steelers fan, so I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I don't want people to be like, oh well, he's a Steelers fan, so obviously he just wants the easy W. But it's like, if the Titans are the only ones that test positive,
they won't be.
Hopefully not. But if they are,
no, hopefully they are.
That's what I'm saying though, is that hopefully no other team tests positive. Hopefully they're the only ones. And I don't know. This one is such an issue, like a slippery slope for me. But before we continue, guys, like, thank you for viewing. For everyone who stopped in, leave us comments into the section about any topics you want us to discuss and whatnot. Remember to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube, and we will continue to be doing these weekly. Outside of next week, I think we're moving it to Monday.
Yes, because the NHL draft is Tuesday night. And if you listen to my hockey podcast, you know that we are going to be going live Tuesday night to cover the draft. It's going to be a long one, so we hope to see you there. Check in, and I don't know, Shane, maybe you'll come out and hang out with us for Sens pick number 25 or whatever it is, 22, something like whatever it is.
28.
Yeah. Well, you know better than I do. You're the Sens fan here. Maybe you'll come and hang. Maybe you come on with us. I don't know.
mean, maybe. Depends on how I feel that day.
A live reaction from you would be hilarious when they reach and make a terrible pick. But that being said, Shane, I want to.
I mean, I don't think I think it. I mean, if we're going to talk about that, I mean, it's already been told that we're picking either Byfield or Stutzel at 3, and then at 5, who knows? We could trade it. That came out today.
Yeah.
But we're not going to talk about that.
One of the clips I want to roll when we start, right as we start to talk about week 3, is this Keandre. Is his name Keandre Diggs?
Something.
I believe it's Stephon Diggs' brother.
It is.
He punched his ball out of DK Metcalf's hands for a touchback.
That was so funny.
This one has mute us. We're gonna roll it.
Wilson gets protection, airs it out. Metcalf, it's there, and it's knocked out of the back of the end zone. Was he in? Play was made by the rookie Diggs as the officials get together. And it's a touchback. Unbelievable if it stands. He's there, and Diggs just...
He lets up.
Yep, and he was not in.
No, it's just, and you don't see that from this guy. I mean, he's one of these guys who just never lets up. He's full speed all game long, and he just thought he had beat
It went in and out of the
Diggs
end zone.
so badly. Great job by Diggs continuing to play, but that's inexcusable right there by DK Metcalf.
That is such an incredible play by the rookie Diggs, who they love. He got beat on the play, but he gives the ball back to his offense, knocking it out of the back of the end zone.
Well, it's the same route concept that they threw the touchdown to lock it on. I don't know what Metcalf's thinking. I mean, I really don't. He just didn't think that Diggs was anywhere around him whatsoever, but Metcalf runs right past him. They got a safety.
That play, I think Diggs just showed us exactly what he's about. That is such an easy play to give up on there, Shane. And for him to make that play right there, turn the ball over for his team instead of Seattle touchdown in a 9-9 football game, that's big. That's a big-time play.
Yeah, and I mean, it just shows that DK got a little bit cocky for no reason, and I love it. I love when things like that happen, where the ball gets stripped or they just straight out drop the ball before entering the end zone. Stuff like that, it's heartwarming.
Now, we don't have the highlight of DK Metcalf's touchdown late in the game, but he redeemed himself big time.
Oh, 100%.
DK Metcalf is on an unbelievable pace right now. What the Seattle Seahawks are doing and what Russell Wilson is cooking with is absolutely unbelievable. I am amazed that the Seattle Seahawks are still as good as they are.
Yeah, I mean, Russell Wilson, man. Russell Wilson.
Shane, you want to talk about another guy, though? And people are going to hate me for saying this. Another guy who's playing just about as good as Russell Wilson is right now is Josh freaking Allen, baby.
Homer.
Josh Allen, I don't know if you've been watching any of the Bills this year, right? Josh Allen has thrown for over 1,000 yards at this point. He's got like 11 touchdowns. He's absolutely garbage. And this was called an interception. In fact, I'll roll that right here. Shane, I want you to tell me, in what planet is this an interception? It's going to show you multiple angles. Now, this is offensive pass interference. I will tell you that. 100% that is offensive pass interference. Where is the interception on that play?
If I remember correctly, 50-50 balls go to the defense?
No. Definitely not true.
Let me see, because I'm going to pull that up.
They go to the offense. Where is the interception on that play? That is almost as bad as the fail Mary. Let me roll that again, because this play is disgusting from an NFL officiating standpoint.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely OPI.
It is. Absolutely, it's OPI. That's not my argument. The difference in that, though, if it's off OPI, and that's a catch, like it should have been, that's...
See, unless he feels, it's kind of hard because you don't see if he wrestles it away.
But, like, I don't understand how Tyler Croft can catch it, come to the ground with it, and then the other guy rips it out of his arms, and it's an interception. How does that make any sense? Once he's on the ground, he's touched down with the ball.
Yeah, but I guess let me see if I can find it, because I'm gonna see if I can find it. I mean, they don't make it easy as hell to find it. Don't care about the playing field. Don't care about what would it be kind of under the rules of the rule? I don't know.
Shane, we're going to bring this back to you here quickly as well. We just got a question about what our thoughts about CFL merchandise is.
I mean, I like the merchandise. It's just crap. Like it's not easy to find. It's relatively hard to figure out where it is and where you can find it. And even then, sizing's hard. You may have one or two stores in your area that sell it, and then very rarely can you try that stuff on. And New Era fits a little bit differently than everything else. And I don't know, they can do such a better job. Like if they're looking for people who can make their marketing and their merchandise so much better, New Era and CFL, holla at me. I can make your things work. No, just trust me.
We'll leave it with Shane there. Shane's the expert on that, Mike. But Shane, like, while you're looking for that, I can already tell you what the answer is, by the way. But here's another one. Like, these are blatant penalties. This one's from last week. We showed this one off. How do you miss this stuff? Like, it's absolute insanity. I thought CFL officiating was bad.
CFL officiating isn't bad. It's just inconsistent.
Well, that's like, this is where the CFL, the way they have it set up, where pretty much you can challenge anything you want. You just better be right. It makes sense. Last year we saw the whole debacle about challenging offense or pass interference, and Alberto Riveron got so up on his feels that he wouldn't overturn a call because his referees are perfect. That is the embodiment of what is wrong with NFL officiating right now. Like, when you've got Mike Pereira, or whatever his name is, up in the booth, disagreeing with the referee's call to give that to make that interception, like, what are you supposed to do? How? I
don't know, man. I've stopped trying to figure out what the hell an OPI is or a DPI is. Like, Denver scored friggin' 14 points off of 2 different OPI calls, and it was rough because, like, you put a hand on a guy now when it's getting called, but you tug on a guy's shirt and you won't get called at all.
I want to point out too, if you're a Rams fan right now complaining about the pass interference at the end of the game, here's one thing I want you to understand. Illegal contact is upgraded to pass interference when the ball is thrown to the player who was illegally contacted. So when Gabriel Davis is held beyond 5 yards, it becomes illegal contact. The ball is thrown to him, pass interference. That's how that works. Also, I don't want to hear you Rams fans complaining about a pass interference call when you got sent to the Super Bowl after absolutely annihilating a receiver on the sidelines with no flag.
But to be fair, most Rams fans admitted that should have been called. Like, most Rams fans were like, yeah, that should have been called and we got away with one.
Still don't want to hear it.
Okay, here's the thing. The CFL's problem with officiating is calling fucking nonsense that's on the opposite side of the field. It's like defensive holding defense, and it's on the opposite side of the damn field. And it's like, bro, what does this have to do? My issue, hands to the face, hate it. It's probably the worst call there is. But it's just, there's so many things wrong with officiating. Also, fuck quarterbacks. Most of them are pussies, and honestly, I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of this.
We've had Isaac Harker on this show. We've had other guys. Like, can't say that, dude.
I am, and I'm saying it right now. Quarterbacks are soft. Most quarterbacks, especially in the NFL, are soft.
Now,
you touch them. How dare you touch them after they've thrown the ball by 2 milliseconds? How dare you? You got to hold up or you're going to get a penalty because Golden Boys and they can't be touched.
I
It's
also want
horseshit.
to point out there's another rule in the NFL that makes no sense to me. And if we're going to be fair, I think Aaron Donald grabbed Josh Allen by the face mask when he fumbled before this happened. But there was a play that drove Josh Allen back about 15 yards before he fumbled, where Aaron Donald grabbed the inside of his shoulder of Josh Allen's shoulder pads and throws him down, and Allen fumbles. And the explanation is there's no such thing as a horse collar tackle inside the pocket.
Was
Why?
it on the back? Was it on
Why?
the back?
It was inside the collar.
Because you can't. No, because the concept of a horse collar tackle is if someone's running. If you're not running, you're allowed to grab them. Because the problem with horse collar is when you're standing still, like if the quarterback's in the pocket ready to pass and you're standing still, there's no difference between grabbing the back of the jersey and grabbing the inside of the collar. There's no real difference. But when it comes to actually horse collaring, is when someone's running and you grab them by the back of the jersey and pull, man, that hurts. As someone who's been horse collared multiple times in both football and in rugby, it hurts. Like, it fucking hurts. So yes, horse collar should be illegal, but there's a difference between a horse collar when you're running and then just being able to because you can't like, you've already made it relatively harder on defenders to touch. Like, you touch them in the side of the head, it's a penalty. You don't even need to hit him that hard. You touch him, you tap him, it's a penalty. Hit to the head, hands to the head. So like, if you're like, oh yeah, you grab the inside, it's a penalty. No, it's stupid.
Let me pull it up here. Let's see if I've got the right one. Should be this one. It might take a couple of seconds to upload here, but the explanation that I'm getting is that because he's in the pocket, it's fine. Which,
yeah, because he's not moving.
I get that, but at the same time, if it's illegal to grab somebody by the collar and throw them down, it should be everywhere. Here's a clip. I'm gonna roll it right here.
Look at that push and pull, and yeah, that is totally clean. You don't have to look at the ref for anything. That is just Aaron Donald destroying the Bills' offense here in the fourth quarter.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So what I want to also point out on this play is originally what Josh Allen's upset about is when he comes in, there's actually a screenshot of the first thing Donald grabs is Josh Allen's face mask. That's what Allen's upset about there. Now, from that angle, it doesn't look as bad as a screen grab you can see. But, I mean, there's a difference between face masking and horse collar. But if you grab the inside, that's nothing. I get that.
Like, it's just, you've already limited the defenders. You can't hit him too low. You can't hit him too high. You hit him too late, it's a penalty. It's bullshit. May as well make it flag football. Give him a little flag that you have to rip off.
Again, I said there was going to be a rant from me, and I guess it's kind of already happened a little bit. But the other, what you don't see on that play is Josh Allen getting flagged 15 yards for unsportsmanlike conduct for going up to the referee and questioning.
Good.
Which let's say this: if Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, anybody else like that did that, that wouldn't happen.
But
nothing pisses me off more than superstars getting preferential treatment. It happens in hockey. It happens in basketball. It happens in football. In baseball, what is Mike Trout's strike zone compared to the guy who got called up from A-ball yesterday? That's ridiculous. Stop doing that. Also, I want to point out, later in this game, on the last drive, Josh Allen went to go stiff arm a guy, and they called face mask, which never see it on the offense, but I get why they called it. I just want that called consistently.
Here's my thing.
If the running back stiff arms, if the running back stiff arms and grabs the opponent by the face mask, I want it called. Why can only the defensive player get a face mask penalty?
Why are quarterbacks treated like freaking princesses and then get mad when people call them out as princesses? Here's the thing. Here's an actual problem that I have. You, as a player, as someone who plays, the most infuriating thing as a lineman is a defensive lineman grabbing the back of your shoulders and pulling you down, and you can't do shit to stop it. if a defense, like a D lineman, grabs you by the shoulders, you're more or less screwed because you can't. If you don't grab inside, and if you move and you're still holding on to them, it's going to be called holding.
Yeah,
and you have these.
Go ahead.
Like you have these differences in positions, but my issue is there's going to be problems everywhere. But quarterbacks and players alike need to stop calling, like being like, oh, here's a flag. No. Yeah, okay, here's a flag. 15 yards on sportsmanlike conduct. Loss of down. Stop calling for flags because you're fucking soft and can't do your job.
Here's a tough thing. There are times where, like, okay, so let's throw it back to last year in the playoffs for the Buffalo Bills. I'll use that example again. Josh Allen's on scrambling outside of the pocket. He gets nailed in the head. He doesn't get a flag. Let's say if Aaron Rodgers went to go do that and he got hit the exact same way, every single referee on the field would be reaching to their belt to throw their flag. And that's
100%.
That's my issue. You have to protect the quarterback in that situation. You cannot let the guy drop his head and hit him in the head. Right? That can't happen. At the same time,
they also need to get rid of, like, they need to stop calling every hit to the head as hits, like as in a deliberate hit to the head. It's not.
Well, they don't in the NFL. In college, they do.
Here's my thing with quarterbacks. If you're going to slide, make up your mind, not right before a guy's, like, the amount of times I've seen a quarterback make up his mind that he's sliding right as someone is about to hit them is ridiculous. No. If you're going to do it, you deserve to get fucking knocked in the head. You deserve it. Imagine if a running back did that. No one would care. No one would be like, oh, he's a running back. Too bad, so sad.
Now, and that's a tough thing, too, because that's when Josh Allen first came into the league, that's what made it tough for defenses, because when a quarterback gets outside of the pocket, they see there's a middle linebacker coming up on him, normally they're going to slide. Josh Allen just dropped his shoulder and ran through the guy a couple of times. And you're like, well, as a defense, what are you supposed to do? Because if he slides and you hit him, you're taking a 15-yard penalty, and you might get thrown out of the game. If you don't, if you pull back and he doesn't slide, all of a sudden you look like an idiot, and you're going to get run over, and the guy's going to be standing in the end zone for a touchdown, and you're going to look like a tool bag. So it's tough. Like I see why they let the quarterback slide and give himself up.
But there's a time frame. Don't do it right when you're about to get hit. Take the fucking hit. You're a football player. Like, people make jokes about punters being, like, basically being useless and not needed. And it's just like the other most useless in terms of being on the field and, like, the softest is straight out a quarterback. Straight up. There's no other position outside of a quarterback and a kicker that feels more pathetic in terms of being able to have contact on.
I think that's fair for some quarterbacks. I think
it's fair as the quarterback position.
Okay, so I don't think that's fair. Like, what happened? If you remember back to the Chiefs-Patriots AFC Championship game in Kansas City a few years ago, the Chiefs before the interception where D4 was offside, they came in to try to knock the ball out of Tom Brady's hands, and they came across his body and hit him in the shoulder. They called it roughing the passer. You can look at guys like Tom Brady and say that if you touch him, you get a flag. And then there's guys
like
that are out there that just take a beating.
Big Ben, Cam Newton. Cam Newton took more roughing hits than anyone, and people call him soft.
Yeah,
there's literally videos out there of him just being hit in the head constantly with no flag.
Yeah,
and I think the position as a whole is soft. It doesn't it doesn't add up to each individual. It's not something you can say on each individual, but I think as a position, when you look at the quarterback position as a whole and the way that it's trending, it's basically bubble wrap kids. Like, they're being bubble wrapped, they're being protected at all costs, and it's not making the league any fun, which is why you have guys like Mahomes and Jackson and Watson running all over the place because they know they can.
So let's move on, because we're starting to be in a little bit of time crunch if we want to get into any more review of this week's games. Let's take a look at Arizona Cardinals, Detroit Lions.
Yo, how the fuck? Yo, I hate Detroit so bad. Detroit is so you let me down in week 1. You shit the bed in week 2. And then how do you lose to Detroit, man?
You throw 3 interceptions. And Kyler Murray still has a long way to go, I think. You know, week 1 and 2, we saw exactly what he can be. Week 3, we saw too many turnovers. You got to hold on to you got to make plays. And sure, you threw for 270 yards, you're 23 for 35, but those 3 touchdowns are what ultimately cost you the game.
Okay, but like, to be fair, like, Murray has done a lot better. These are just growing pains, right? It's just gonna happen.
Exactly. I mean,
like, even most elite quarterbacks have games where they just have 3-4 picks. It is the way it is.
But you can't play down to your competition. Like, when you've got the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams in your division, you win the games that you're supposed to win. That's where you have
49ers.
And the 49ers, exactly. Like, that is the murderer's row of a division.
With the expanded playoffs, I expect 4 teams from that division to make the playoffs.
I think we'll see at least 3. I don't know. The 49ers are all shit right now, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think they're going to get hurt out of the playoffs. But I think you're going to see 3 teams.
Let's talk about the San Francisco 49ers and Nick Mullins. 343 yards with 25 completions on 36 attempts, no interceptions. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more out of Nick Mullins in that game.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the thing with interceptions. I think it's such a broad stat. I hate it. I hate it so much. It's so bad. Like, you
can't throw them though. That's the thing.
Okay, but here's the thing. We talked about this with Dominic Davis. You look back at his 4 interception game against Calgary, and about 2 of them at least, you can sure just blame the receiver for not catching the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So you could say, "Oh, don't throw them. Just catch the fucking ball. Don't tip. If you're gonna get a hand on, this is the thing that pisses me off. If you're gonna get a hand on it, catch the ball or knock it down. If it's not catchable, if you can't catch it, knock it down. Don't knock it up. The amount of interceptions that are tipped in the air and caught by a defender, too high. It's either you catch it or you knock it down. One of the two. And then you have some that are just straight interceptions, like by the quarterback.
Yeah.
But there's also a good amount of them that are receiver based.
Yeah. Sorry if I'm looking down at my phone too. I've got all of the scores and stuff on my phone here. Jacksonville Jaguars shit the bed against the Miami Dolphins on Thursday Night Football. Gardner Minshew's got a noodle arm, and I'm not. I'm back to being Gardner Minshew is average.
See, here's the thing: they lost their best weapon. They don't have a running game. It's easy to stop.
They do have a running game, man. James Robinson there. I can't remember his first name. He went crazy.
But when you don't have your number one offensive weapon in DJ Clark, you're easy to stop. They don't have a run game that can help. Like, they can solely win. Like, if they're not Tennessee, they don't have a Derrick Henry that they can run off of the entire game, and they can miss one receiver and still be able to win the game.
Yeah,
losing DJ, it's why Pittsburgh, even though they were 8-8, they struggled offensively last year because Washington was shit, quarterback was shit, which you can double team Juju and then just stack the box.
Yeah, we'll start hurrying it up because I want to touch on every game actually. Steelers outlast the Texans. They go to 3-0. It wasn't a blowout like you anticipated. It was closer like I thought it would be. Deshaun Watson, no pushover. That's a tough start to the Texans season. And
Deshaun Watson. What? You just went full breakout there.
They've played 3 really good teams. They're 0-3 and they're screwed.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Deshaun's just magic. He's gonna make anything work. And I didn't count him out. I counted out that defense more than I counted out that offense. And to the credit, the defense stepped up. a little bit of help here and there, some drops, some misplays in the offense that I think can be worked out. But yeah, that was a lot closer than I would have liked.
Eagles punt in overtime instead of trying a long field goal and tie with the Bengals. The Philadelphia Eagles are disgusting.
Philadelphia Eagles look like they're turning into the next Browns. It's great.
What are you doing now? Like, you're 0-2. You're trying to win a division in one that you still have a chance. When you got to kick that field goal.
Was Elliott hurt? How long was the field goal? Wasn't it like 50 yards, 56 yards or something like that?
It was like something that, well, probably a little bit out of his range, but in a tie game at the end of overtime, and you're already 0-2 on the season, you need to try that kick.
Isn't Elliott's career long, like 60 yards?
Yeah, he made a really, really long one in Carolina, I think it was. Or against the Giants to win.
You just have to kick it. You have to kick it at that situation. That being said, we both picked the Bengals, so also a little cheap shot on. You want to talk about a dirty hit? That was a dirty hit on Burrow.
I haven't seen that hit actually.
Oh man, it's like lunging into his head.
Move on. Rex Burkhead turns back the clock, scores 3 touchdowns, and the Patriots beat the Raiders 36-20. The Raiders have fallen off, apparently. They beat the Saints one week and then get throttled by the Patriots the next. They welcome the Buffalo Bills next week, so things don't get any easier. And yeah, the Patriots are somehow 2-1.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Titans beat the Vikings by 1 point. The Titans are now 3-0, and the Vikings are 0-3. The biggest storyline out of that game, COVID.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Browns have scored 30-plus for 2 games in a row. They scored
34. 2 games?
2 games, sorry. 2 games in a row. They beat the Washington football team 34-20.
They're tied with Baltimore.
Yeah. Yep. And Washington quickly goes from your sneaky team to watch to being 1-2 and somehow being tied for the division lead, right?
Yeah, because Dallas just shit the bed again.
What a joke.
That division's a joke.
Yeah. Falcons blow another lead. Big Dick Nick Foles comes out, drops 3 touchdowns. The Bears are 3-0. The Falcons are 0-3. And
Dan Quinn needs to be fired. The fact that this guy still has a job, oh my God.
Mitch Trubisky's done. Nick Foles is the savior for the Bears.
Yo, man, I was so pissed. I was looking at the scores, and I'm like, hey, yo, I'm going to tie. I'm going to actually get ahead in this pick'em stuff because, I was going to go 3-0, and I fucking went 1-2 in the last quarter because teams just shit the bed.
Yep.
I thought I was gonna go 2-1 because I figured the Rams would have just blown it, and then I saw that they were leading, and I'm like, "Fucking right!" And fuck it, I'm so annoyed.
Panthers without Christian McCaffrey beat the Chargers 21-16. Justin Herbert is called a backup for a reason after the game, and it doesn't look like
him a backup.
The head coach said he's a backup for a reason.
Yeah, because he's not ready to play right now.
Right, but you don't say that about your young rookie quarterback.
No, but I mean, it's true, though. He's not ready to play.
No.
He's a backup for a reason. He needs to learn.
And that is Carolina's first win since week 9 of last season, by the way.
Yep. They are 1-2. I need to change it on the
Sam Darnold throws 2 pick sixes, and the Jets lose 36-7. Phillip Rivers throws for 400-plus yards again. He has 400-plus passing touchdowns on his career now. He is the 6th quarterback in NFL history to do so. So, way to go, Phillip Rivers, I guess. You're old and you have about 17 children, but you're out there slinging the rock. So that's good, I guess. And Sam Darnold might be on his last legs with the New York Jets, even though it's not his fault. But
Adam Gase is a shit coach.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of talk about Brian Daboll being the next coach in Jetstown. So that'll be interesting because they'll pry the Bills' offensive coordinator away, and they'll have themselves a pretty solid head coach. Um,
And then the Bills
Cowboys-
go back to being irrelevant.
Shut up. Cowboys lose again, 38-31, and we saw that play earlier that saved them 7 points as well. And Dak Prescott had a pretty good night again, but it wasn't enough. That Cowboys team's now 1-2. They're tied for the division lead with
The defense isn't that good.
The New York Giants are 0-3 and are one game out of the division lead in that division. That's
so
an
are the Eagles.
Joke. The Eagles are actually a game and a half or half a game out.
They're
because
both
they have a
0-.
tie. Now the Eagles are 0-2-1.
Right. May as well be a loss. We're still the Bengals.
Yeah. To nobody's surprise, the Buccaneers walked all over the Denver Broncos, 28-10. Mike Evans picked up 2 touchdowns with 2 yards receiving and 2 receptions. So that's a great stat line. That's pretty cool. Moving forward, because nobody cares about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we already covered the Lions beating the Cardinals somehow. The Green Bay Packers beat the New Orleans Saints by 1 touchdown, what was a very high-scoring game, 37-30. And our Monday night game was the Kansas City Chiefs dragging their nuts all over the forehead of the Baltimore Ravens and showing them that they are the legit Super Bowl contenders, and the Baltimore Ravens are not. Lamar Jackson didn't look good, didn't throw for more than 100 yards. And that was the week in the NFL.
I don't understand. They're not a hard team to beat. I think that's the thing that pisses me off, is that you can beat the Chiefs. It's not hard.
It is.
No, you have to you overcomplicate things. That's the problem. Is that the Chiefs are going to turn into the New England Patriots. They're going to be opportunistic. They're going to score when they can. And the way to beat them is to keep them on the damn sidelines. You can't lose the time of possession battle and expect to beat the Chiefs, especially if you're kicking fucking field goals in the red zone. Honestly, I knew the game was over after the first drive where Baltimore didn't score a touchdown when they got to the red zone. I'm like, this game's done. And then it just got solidified when KC just went down the field and scored. KC's a quick straight offense. They can score quickly. They can score on a 2-minute drive or a 7-minute drive. They can do both. If you're going to beat this team, you need to win the time of possession. You need to score and actually score, not kick field goals. You can't beat this team kicking field goals. And you got to keep Mahomes off the sideline. You run the damn ball. Their run defense isn't overly good. You mix it up with some RPOs. You get that defense moving side to side. You can beat them.
See, but that's part of the issue, Shane. You've got to get you can't be losing to them to run the football on them.
No, but you shouldn't be losing if you're going down scoring.
But it's not that easy. They
I
still
feel like coaches
plays.
overcomplicate it. They do. And it's not, you don't look at them and be like, okay, how are we going to stop them? You're not going to stop the Kansas City Chiefs. You have to look at them like, how are we going to minimize the damage? You're going to have to fight fire with fire. And this is why I think a team like Arizona or Seattle can beat KC.
Oh, I think, well, the issue with Seattle is it's going to be an absolute offensive shootout. They are going to have to score every time down the field because Seattle's defense.
Yeah, but you run almost the same team. But both teams' defenses aren't that good, and both offenses run very similar.
But whose offense do you have more confidence in?
I have more confidence in Russell Wilson than I do in Patrick Mahomes.
I think that's unreasonable.
I don't think so. I just think it's the fact that Russell Wilson can make magic out of it. It's like, okay, how much confidence do you have in Aaron Rodgers over a guy like Drew Brees or Tom Brady?
I'm infinitely more confident in Aaron Rodgers over those two right now.
That's what I'm saying, though, is that in their career, most people would actually pick Aaron Rodgers in terms of like do or die situations. Brady,
the dude throws Hail Marys for breakfast.
But okay, here's the thing: Patrick Mahomes hasn't had to single-handedly win a game. Patrick Mahomes, and this is credit to KC. He has not had to go out there and single-handedly hit the one game. They went to overtime against friggin' the Chargers. He still has a lot to learn. He has not gone out there. At least I don't remember him being able to go out there and single-handedly win a game for the Kansas City Chiefs.
What do you mean by single-handed game?
Going out there and just purely, I mean, to be fair, that team has been relatively healthy since he's been a starting quarterback. But
so do game-winning drives in the fourth quarter for you?
I mean, it's part of it, but I feel like we've only seen the tip of it for Mahomes, and I think Mahomes has a lot to learn, and he's gonna be the GOAT by the end of it. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I think Mahomes will be the greatest of all time by the time his contract with KC is up. Yeah. But I think it's something to say where Russell Wilson has carried, you can make the argument that Wilson has carried that Seahawks team to stay relevant, even when people thought they weren't going to be relevant. And I think
absolutely. And I think
that's something Mahomes hasn't had to deal with, thankfully. But I think that's why I would pick Russell Wilson over Mahomes because of the adversity. I want to see how Mahomes deals with adversity.
Look, if you're picking quarterbacks in a vacuum, I think you can make the argument for that. In terms of picking an offense, I think it's clear as day that the best offense in the NFL is the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's not even close. As good as the Seattle Seahawks offense is, I don't think that they can keep pace with the Kansas City Chiefs. I think if they get into a shootout with them, they are in trouble.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I have more faith in I can't remember his name. The coach in Seattle.
Oh, Pete Carroll?
Pete Carroll. Then I do
Andy Reid's no pushover himself, man.
No, but I feel like if there's a coach that can manage time of possession over KC, it's Pete Carroll or Bruce Arians. Those are two coaches I think that can rival Andy Reid. Bill Belichick, obviously. Belichick's there too.
Okay, if we're going to be fair, Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't stand a chance against the Kansas City Chiefs. As we sit right now, no way.
Oh no, I mean I think Tampa is just overrated. The offense itself has been overrated, but I think but again, you don't need to score 40 points to beat KC.
You do.
You don't.
I think you absolutely do.
No, you just have to minimize. No, because the only time if you have scored 40 points against KC, I guarantee you they've scored like 35. You don't want to get into a shootout with KC. You want to do what LA did and keep them to like 23 points. And I think that's something we have to take into account is that you don't want to get into a scoring race with KC. You just want to minimize the damage. You want to hold them for 20 points, 21 points.
Let's move on to our picks this week because we're starting to run out of time, like I said.
We have like half an hour. We have plenty of time. We have
our
35
picks always
minutes.
Take half an hour, my man.
Okay, but we have to talk about the North Division right now.
Okay. In which side?
In the AFC. Okay. Baltimore being 2-1 with the Steelers being 3-0 is an important storyline to follow over that, especially if Tennessee doesn't play, if this game doesn't happen. This is
I don't think it. Not that it doesn't matter, right? I think it matters. What I think is going to matter more is I'm not too sure when the Ravens and the Steelers are going to play for the first
week
time.
7.
Week 7,
which is why this game matters. Like why this week's game is important, because you have a chance to go. If you're Baltimore, you want to be 3-1 after this weekend, and you 100%. hope Tennessee can beat the Steelers and drop the Steelers to 3-1. Because I was looking at the Steelers' schedule, and it's an easy, outside of Tennessee, it's a relatively favorable matchup in turn, like for their next 2 weeks after. It's literally the Eagles. It's the Eagles in Cleveland after Tennessee. So let's say they don't have this game. They have a bye week this week. They have to play Philly and Cleveland in Pittsburgh back-to-back weeks. Philly's disorganized. Cleveland, you can't trust them. You really don't know what Cleveland team you're dealing with.
If you get the good Cleveland, though, if you get the good Cleveland team, it'll be interesting for sure.
It will be, but I still think like you have a chance of going into that Week 7 matchup 5-0, and then you're gonna go against a Baltimore team that's probably 5-1, because I don't see them losing, multiples in a row.
And they play Washington this week.
Yeah, so they're going to be 3-1 at the end of the week. And then who do they play? They play Cincinnati and then Philadelphia. So you're looking at two teams that are on a collision course to meet in week 7 at 5-1 or 6-0 versus 5-1. That's how week 7 is projected. This week's game is a toss-up if they do play between Tennessee and Pittsburgh. But and that's very important because they play week 7 and then week 12.
Yeah. Well, that's projected, right? Like, as far as where you got the Steelers at 5-1 or 6-0 or whatever there, they still win those games. There's a reason you play the game, and it's because Washington walked to Philly in week 1 and beat them.
Yeah, but Philly's also been trash.
I know.
But I'm just saying that, you look at
the Chargers lose to the Panthers. Like, good teams are going to lose to bad teams occasionally. So you still have to play the game. You still have to be good enough on the day to win. And that's part of the reason, though. I hate the you only played Miami, or you only played the Jets. You only played Cleveland.
Oh, I hate
you only
it.
Played,
I hate
that. You still have to win. I don't care who. I can only play who you put in front of me on a week.
It's the reason why they play the games. But to say that, okay, like, it's going to matter because if they go to if they're tied 5-1 heading into the week 7 matchup, and whoever wins that week 7 matchup, they'd play again 5 weeks later, 4 weeks later. That's your season series right there.
Oh, yeah,
and then you have
those 2 games will likely decide who wins that division. And as much as I think it's going to be Baltimore, to be honest. I think Baltimore's the team that's going to win that division. I think Pittsburgh's still in the playoffs. But
I don't know.
If Pittsburgh comes out and wins one of those games, Pittsburgh stands a chance.
If Pittsburgh goes, obviously they still have to go out and play the games. But if they can get past Tennessee, they should win their winnable games against Philadelphia and Cleveland. And them going 6-0 to start the season 6-0, and they beat Baltimore. Baltimore would be sitting at 5-2 when Pittsburgh's sitting at 7-0.
Yeah, and mind you too, this is going to be, in all likelihood, an undermanned Tennessee Titans team if they do play this game. The players who have tested positive will not be playing. There is 0 chance.
100%.
Now,
so
who has tested positive? Is it Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry? That's a different team. Is it the third string running back and a safety that nobody's heard about?
Or is it Javon Clowney? Or is it some of your Javion Clowney and not Stephen Gilmore? One of the Boyd or whatever.
Kevin Byard.
Yeah, is it on the defensive side of the ball? You know, so this is whoever tests positive will determine the outcome of this game in that way. But looking at it, if that's the way it goes, if either teams are 5-1 or 6-0 against 5-1, if you're 2 games behind, if you're Baltimore and you're 2 games behind Pittsburgh, they play Dallas, Cincy, Jacksonville. They have their bye week. You both have your bye week 8. But their next 3 games are Dallas, Cincy, and Jacksonville. Those are 3 winnable games. Yeah. So you're looking at a team that's going to be 7-3, who could be no worse than 7-3 by the next time you see them, no better than 10-0 by week 12. And you're going to be at max if this is all this is speculation, but you're going to be max 8-2, and you need to win that game. If you lose that game, it's over. So we could see there's a big chance that the Steelers can't win this division. It doesn't matter of what the outcome of the next couple of weeks are.
Yeah, you have to at least, if you want to win the division, you got to at least split with the Ravens, though.
100%. But if you go into your bye week undefeated, you should be able to it's Dallas, Cincinnati, Jacksonville, Baltimore, Washington, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Cleveland.
That Buffalo game is going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to mean something. But outside of Baltimore and Buffalo and maybe Cincinnati, I'm looking at a 15 or a 15-1, maybe 14-2 record.
Let's chill.
I'm sorry,
Don't be throwing a 15-win season at me.
Hey, okay, Dallas, Buffalo, and Baltimore are my only real 3 concerns. So okay, you're gonna look at 12-4. I think 12-4 is a good number. But I'm saying that like
the max I ever want to hear from somebody on their season projections, 12-4. Don't come at me with this 16-0, 15-1, 14-2 guys.
I don't want to hear it. I don't think it's actually gonna happen, but I'm saying that like if this team gets better, if this team improves the way they should, the schedule is favorable enough where a 15-1, 14-2, 13-3 season is possible for this team.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. It's just beating the Ravens. They don't play the Chiefs, eh?
No, they don't play the Chiefs this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't play the Chiefs this year. We probably won't play the Chiefs until the playoffs. And I mean, like, realistically, even looking at Seattle, like looking at Buffalo,
the Chiefs are on there.
Yeah, you have Tennessee, the Chiefs, Seattle, and then Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Those 4 games are the only games that I look at, and I'm like, you're going to struggle. You have the Jets twice, or you have the Jets one more time. You have Miami one more time.
Patriots twice.
New England's twice. You have Arizona and San Francisco and the Chargers.
The Bills' schedule is not a walk in the park this year.
No, but I mean, you have Denver. You have it's a manageable schedule.
Oh, I agree. Like with the team they got, the Titans scare me if Derrick Henry's there, and the Bills' defense likes to just disappear for 3 games each year, and I think that they've already done their disappearing act for 2, and this week might be the 3rd. That run defense has got to be better. If it's better, I think they beat the Titans. The Chiefs game, they're either going to get run over, or they're going to keep it close and lose at the end.
Just watch them pull the upset.
I'm like cautiously optimistic about that game. I know it's a long way out right now, but if Josh Allen keeps playing 3 weeks in the NFL, that's a long way.
Yeah, it'll come out quicker than you realized.
Yeah, I know, but like the way Josh Allen's been playing right now, he's been so good, and if he can continue to play the way he's playing, who really knows how the season goes? Because
as long as he doesn't cost you games, right?
And exactly, he's been far from that this year. You can seriously make the argument for Josh Allen being one of the best quarterbacks in the league so far.
I've seen him be in MVP talks, early season MVP talks, and I'm like, that's fair. If Ben doesn't win comeback player of the year, like if he's not like, I don't even think there's a award for it, but if he's not in conversation as one of those guys who's like, this guy had a comeback player of the year, I'm gonna be pissed.
It might be Cam Newton.
Fuck that.
If the Patriots do well.
Fuck that. He didn't come back from shit.
He came back from being shit.
Yeah, I mean, Big Ben came back from like almost career-ending elbow injury. Like, fuck off, Newton.
Yeah, but Cam Newton plays for the Patriots.
Yeah, but it's only the Patriots.
Anyway, our picks. Our Thursday night game sucks again this week, Shane. The Denver Broncos are starting.
Yo, this better be flexed.
Are they starting Rippin?
I think so.
Let me check on that. The Broncos. Sorry, I honestly like. I'm kind of leaning towards taking the Jets in this game.
No, I'm taking the Broncos on this.
Brett Rippon is starting.
Yeah, I'm taking.
You're taking the Broncos?
Yeah, I don't trust the Jets. Man, the Jets can fly off.
That wasn't.
I trust the Jets as much as I trust the Jays right now.
Well, I don't trust the Jets either, but it's a matter of Rippon is starting that game for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, no, I still feel more confident in. I also don't trust Adam Gase. I don't think he's a good coach.
Well, neither do I, but I don't think the Jets are going 0 for this year. I think they will get a win at some point. And I think this might be their only win, but it's also their best opportunity to win. And I think they will take advantage of it. I think they'll get it done.
I want them to go in 16.
Well, that would be funny. And then they draft Trevor Lawrence and trade Sam Darnold somewhere so he can be freed from this.
Trade him to
misery.
Pittsburgh. I've been saying it all along.
Josh Rosen's the Pittsburgh guy.
No, I mean he is but like I don't know. I like Allen. I like what he can do. I feel like he'd be a good replacement.
Darnold.
For
You're not getting Josh Allen.
I'm fully aware of that. I don't want Josh Allen. Oh, Darnold, my bad.
You don't want Josh Allen. You're gonna regret saying that.
I mean, I don't.
You won't get him anyway. He's staying in Buffalo forever, buddy.
Until he gets run out of town because he can't win a playoff game.
Not a fair thing to say when he's played in one. But speaking of the Buffalo Bills going to Vegas for the first time, taking on the Raiders. I've got the Buffalo Bills in this game.
I got the Bills.
Move to 4-0. There's the defensive side of the football is rough for Buffalo right now. I think eventually they'll find their way back into it. But Stephon Diggs has made such a difference in this offense. And yes, Josh Allen has gotten a lot better. But you watch the Bills play, they no longer have to worry about, finding a way to free up John Brown or Cole Beasley. You put Stephon Diggs out there, he commands the attention from the defense. Jalen Ramsey literally would not leave his side, and he gave up a touchdown because of it. All of a sudden, you've got other weapons. Gabriel Davis went off. He played great. And I don't know if the Raiders have the horses to keep up with that.
I don't think so either. With that being said, though, I'm taking the Bills.
Yeah.
I think the Bills have a good chance of going. Again, they think they play Tennessee in the following week.
Yep.
They can head into week 5.
Who knows what's going on with Tennessee? Still, even then.
There's 7 undefeated teams in the league right now. 2 of them are in the NFC North and the Packers and the Bears. But I think the Bears can be one of those teams that, it's going down to 5 if the Tennessee Titans and the Steelers play because they're both undefeated. But I think you're going to see. Oh, yeah, down to 6. I don't know why I said 5.
Well, they'll tie. There you go.
No, technically they'd still be undefeated. Technically.
Fair.
But I think that we'll see the Bills continue that streak, continue going undefeated into week 4 or into week 5.
Speaking of the Chicago Bears, they are hosting the Indianapolis Colts this week.
Go Colts.
I am so torn. I don't know where to go here.
I'm going Colts.
Part of me wants to go Colts because of that offensive outburst they had last week. But part of me also goes, I haven't seen that against other teams this year. And 14 of your points were scored by your defense on pick sixes. So
that's good.
I know it's good. But you remember
you
when
have
Sam
Nick
Darnold's...
You have Nick fucking Foles. Okay, Trubinsky, okay, if Nick Foles falters, you have Trubinsky, the pick machine. So the only worst quarterback at throwing pick sixes is freaking Winston, and he's out in New Orleans and probably won't see any playing time.
Now, Shane, I've been ride or die with the Chicago Bears to this point. That's not changing. For the 4th straight week, I'm picking the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, and for the 4th straight week, I'm going against them.
And you're probably going to regret it again. I mean,
you know what?
Just with the way things are going. I don't think the Bears are good, by the way.
I think, honestly, I like this Indianapolis Colts team. I like this Colts team. I think they'll do well. I think this is the week that fuck the Bears.
I mean, part of me also feels that Nick Foles is going to be a great fit for the Bears. And that team's going to continue to win. I mean, defensively, they're still a very good football team. So I don't know. The Colts have some convincing to do to get me on board, I think. The next game, though, the New Orleans Saints are headed to Detroit. And
New Orleans.
Yeah, I've already filled in your pick there because I figured that would be the case. That was pretty easy. Not much to talk about in that game. I think probably the final ride for Matt Stafford. Yeah, I mean, I think Matt Stafford's done there at the end of the year, but that's kind of relevant. But
man, name another organization that has ruined star players like Detroit.
Cleveland.
No, what star players have they had? Realistically, what star players have they actually had? Okay,
guys that could have been stars.
Okay, but like actual star talent, because you had Barry
San
Sanders
Diego.
retired. No, because who?
Phillip Rivers.
No, because you didn't ruin it. You didn't wait. Like, I mean, you kind of wasted it, but you have LaDainian Tomlinson, but he didn't retire because you guys weren't winning. At least you were winning. Just because you not the Chargers' fault that they played in a division or a conference that had Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and Ben Roethlisberger all just dominating. It's not his fault.
Also, Mike here, he wants the Bears to lose, but he's Packers fan as well. But I'm on your side here, Mike. I'm agreeing with that.
Go Colts.
We've got a game of a team that had a disappointing week and a team that had a week that I don't think many people saw coming. The Arizona Cardinals are headed to Carolina to take on the Panthers. And
I'm taking the Cardinals.
I'm banking on a Cardinals bounce back this week.
I see the Cardinals bouncing back. Without Christian McCaffrey, I think Chandler Jones is going to eat up Teddy Bridgewater. Because let's be honest. You know, it's all about who did Carolina beat again? Fuck.
The Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, Chargers
a good team, but Justin Herbert's just not ready.
Yeah, I mean, that O-line also isn't that good. And I think, I don't know. I feel like Arizona's ready for a bounce back. I think they have to. They can't go 2-2.
Yeah,
they can't fall to 2-2 because the Rams can jump to 3-1. There's a three-way tie for second. You can't afford to lose a game that you should win.
Joe Panic just swung at a pitch that was so far inside to lose the Jays the game that I'm pissed off
Tampa.
now. The next game on the docket is arguably the runner-up for winning Toilet Bowl of the week. The Jacksonville Jaguars are headed to Cincinnati to play the Bengals.
Joe Burrow gets his first win, baby.
For the fourth straight week, we are both picking the Bengals.
Joe Burrow. Burrow is taking it. Getting his first career win against Minshew Mania. I'm all about it.
I see that comment there, and I'm not even going to give that the time of day. That one down there, that's absolute garbage.
I agree.
Absolute garbage.
I agree. Allen is going to fall off so hard. Bills are going to fall right into irrelevant.
Steady progressions.
They're going to fall back into irrelevance.
Anyway.
In 2 years. Allen's going to get hit. He's going to break his collarbone. He's going to be done.
I don't like predicting injuries, Shane, but
the way he plays, man, I wouldn't be surprised if it happens this year.
Let's just say that if that happens, Shane, lock your doors. I'm going to be angry at you. Okay, perfect.
What did I do?
Nothing. You're just my scapegoat. Browns going to Dallas to play the Cowboys, and this is tough because I know the potential of both sides of this one.
I think they're gonna. I'm putting up another 30 points on that horrible pass defense. You got Odell and Jarvis finally hitting the stride. If they if they can continue to improve, they got the mojo. I gotta go Browns on this.
I am going Dallas. And
That's not surprising.
part of me, why is that not surprising?
I'm not surprised.
Are you calling me a Cowboys fan, Shane?
Sympathizing.
Definitely not. But that being said, I think Cleveland has played a little bit over their heads the last couple of weeks. I don't think Baker Mayfield's that good. I think there's something about Dallas that just screams 500 all season. So that means they're due for a win. Easy as that. Vikings Texans. This one, I will let you. So here's the thing. Depending on who tests positive, this is a pick that you are going to be allowed to change.
I thought we were allowed to change them everywhere. Is that just for you?
But that's mostly just for me.
I'm sorry, Mike. I gotta disagree. Browns, baby. Even though I'm a Steelers fan, I shouldn't be cheering for the Browns, but I just love chaos, and Browns winning creates chaos for everybody. So I'm all about the Browns. Also, that NFC East division, I get more chaos. Okay, if the Giants win, if Giants win, Washington loses. The Eagles somehow win. You have a division of below 500 all in a playoff spot right now. It's hilarious. I'm all for it.
Yeah, so Vikings, Texans, we don't know who's tested positive from the Vikings, if anybody. But I don't think it... This is tough. This is 2 0-3 teams. You gotta ask who's worse.
Minnesota by a landslide.
Yeah.
Yo, Deshaun Watson, Kirk Cousins. You have David Johnson versus Cook. And then you have outside, like you have Cobb versus Thielen. And if Will Fuller is going to be the difference maker.
Yeah. Well, that's if he can stay healthy, because
he stayed for most of the game against the Steelers.
Oh yeah, he stayed for most of the game. Is that an accomplishment now?
I mean, I actually have no idea. I think he was actually in on most of the snaps. I wasn't actually paying attention. I was at work during the game. Okay, I literally had it playing at work, and then it got super busy, and I wasn't able to watch the end of the game. So I actually have no idea.
Don't worry, Mike. We'll roast Shane together when Dallas does win that game.
Oh, that's cute.
Dude, you're picking the Browns to win a football game. Do you understand how...
Did you not pick the Browns last week too?
No, they played... Didn't they play Cincinnati? I'll tell you.
Did Cincinnati... Yeah, the team that ended up... The only 0-2-1 teams are the Cleveland Browns and Cincinnati...
Who did they play?
Pretty sure they played Washington, and you picked Washington.
I did pick Washington. So,
yay. Go Browns, baby!
Anyway, Seahawks, Dolphins. I'm just going to fill in your answer here. You don't even need to answer, because if you pick the Dolphins, Shane, I'm going to get you sent for a drug test.
No, I'm going Seahawks.
Perfect. You don't have to waste the time of the doctor's office then. Chargers, Buccaneers.
Bucks, baby.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Even if Tyrod's in there, I think that it's the Chargers.
I don't think it's because the Buccaneers are good either. No,
I think it's the Chargers.
Yeah, exactly. And the Chargers are still like a solid team, but I don't think they have the quarterback. As much as I love Tyrod Taylor, he's not the guy. Steelers, Titans.
Steelers, baby! Steel Nation, here we go.
This is such a tough one again, because you don't know who's tested positive on Tennessee.
Steelers are my ride or die. I'm gonna pick them. I'm gonna pick them every week.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm picking the Titans in this one.
Well, you're gonna lose, baby.
I'm picking the Titans in this one. And if any one of their big players or any name that I think is going to cause them to lose this game test positive or
nah. You are sticking with this pick.
Oh no, that's not how that works.
No, this is the one pick that you are sticking with the entire week.
I don't think so.
No. You make your pick now, and what you make is what sticks.
Mike, you want to back me up on this one here?
No. What you make sticks for this game. Is it Steelers or Titans?
I think that's bullshit.
No, it's not.
This is
because you're scapegoating. You're scapegoating, man. You're telling me we're making our picks, and you're like, oh well, maybe I'm gonna change my pick if there's more information that comes out. May as well just wait until Sunday to make our pick then, and get rid of this entire segment.
If the Titans are healthy, I think they win this game.
Then say it. Just say it. You think the Titans are going to win? There's your pick.
But I don't know if they're healthy. That's the issue. I don't know.
There's 8 players missing. They're healthy enough. There's like 55 of them. They're good.
Shane, you understand there's 8 players that have COVID that could potentially mean McLeod Bethel Thompson is their starting quarterback next week.
They have Marcus Mariota. What are you talking about? Oh, he went into Oakland. Who do they have now then? Who's their backup?
Exactly.
He's still better than Michael fucking Thompson.
Well, I actually don't know who it is, to be honest with you.
Trevor Siemian and Woodside.
No.
Yeah.
No. Didn't Whiteside play in the AAF?
Woodside.
Yeah, he did. He played for
Logan Woodside. He was drafted by the Bengals in 2018.
Did he play for the Fleet?
I don't know.
Sorry, you don't know your AAF football history?
Be a man, like Mike says. Be a man.
Oh, this is garbage. Even Mike's not on my team on this one. This is ridiculous. All right, I'm picking the Titans.
There we go. Sticking with them.
Well, it's okay because you're still going to be – you're down in another game. You're down 4 games to me right now, so I have this one to burn.
How?
Whatever.
How am I down 4 games?
Because I won one of our swing games more than you did this week.
Yeah, I was 1-2. Fucking
yeah, you picked the Falcons over the Bears and the Rams over the Bills.
Yo, you don't even talk shit. You guys were up 28-3 and down 32-25 or 32-28.
We won.
Nearly, so don't talk shit. Don't give. You almost pulled an Atlanta. Okay,
yeah, but
so shut the fuck up.
But
almost.
All right,
it was close enough.
Ravens football team.
That's not a team.
It is.
Ravens football team.
Ravens versus football team.
Yeah, you cut out there, and all I heard was Ravens football team. I'm taking the Ravens.
All right. Yep. Makes sense. Skip it.
Washington, I mean, to be fair, I'd be happy if Washington wins, but I don't see it happening.
No, there's not a chance. Giants are headed to SoFi to take on the Rams.
Rams.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat there. By the way, those Rams uniforms, those are awful.
They're fucking amazing.
Those are terrible.
The blue is amazing.
Mike, by the way, if you actually look on our Facebook page, this is where you're watching. We post our weekly picks on our. Actually, we might not on our Facebook. They're definitely on our Twitter.
I don't know. You take care of.
Yeah, I don't think they're on our Facebook. They're definitely on our Twitter.
Well, then you need to pick up your slack and post them on Facebook.
Hey, man, it's whatever. They're on Twitter. It's a Twitter thing. You can find us
on Instagram
at 13th Man Pod on Twitter. All of our picks are there. Shane is currently. You had a bad week, man. You went 8-7-1. I mean, I went 9-6-1, but you're sitting 29-18-1 on the year, and I'm 33-14-1.
Yeah, because the fucking the Bears. Those are 2 wins
and
right there.
And the Bills.
No, the Bears. Yo, if DeAndre Swift catches that touchdown at the end of the Detroit game, there you go. I'm sitting at an extra win. You're sitting at a loss. If the Falcons don't choke up a fucking lead, I'm sitting. There you go. It's so much better. It's so much better.
Well, maybe you just need to stop picking the Falcons to win. Also, you picked the Giants to win a game, Shane. I don't feel bad for you.
Dude, they lost by 4. They lost by 4 without Barkley. Get the fuck out of here. They feel bad for me. They lost by 4 without Barkley.
Hey, I also want to just point out our last 4 primetime. So our Monday and Thursday games, the last 4 weeks, the last 2 weeks, the last 4 games, we've gotten wrong.
I love it. I think it's great. So whoever we pick for, just go against us.
Yeah.
Which means that the Jags are gonna.
Mike, also, win. Yeah, on our Twitter as well. I don't think we did it last week, but we will again this week. We put up 4 games, and we let listeners, Twitter followers, whatever, they get to jump in on the action. There's no reward or anything, but just fun. Move on. Patriots are headed to Kansas City in the rematch of the
Kansas City. Get the hell out of here. We don't even need to talk about
Yeah,
that.
okay. Yeah, fine.
We got 5 minutes, so let's wrap this up because you took forever.
Remember when I said that we need to wrap it up? All right. Eagles are taking on the injury-plagued 49ers, in which we still don't know who's back. You think even Nick Mullins gets that done?
Fuck the Eagles, man. Fuck the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat as well. And Falcons Packers. This should be a really interesting game. And
wow, rude. Wow, I don't think we're endorsing violence here.
No. You know what? Just for that, Mike, I'm picking the Falcons.
Do it. No, you said it. You're picking the Falcons. No, you're picking the Falcons. No, you're picking the Falcons.
I'm not picking the Falcons. Get out of here. I'd never be stupid enough to pick the Falcons in a football game. Shane's writing down in his little notebook. Make sure to put Frankie as the Falcons.
Oh no!
Although, you know what, Shane? It's our Monday night graphic. So guess who takes care of that?
What? No, it's the Sunday night game, isn't it? Oh no, it's the Eagles. Oh,
what is with our primetime? Like our primetime Thursday and Monday games being absolutely terrible.
So our picks are shit, so it's fine.
But like, why? Okay, so far we've had Texans and Chiefs, which was okay. We've had Steelers Giants, brutal game. Titans and Broncos. It was a close game, but a terrible matchup. Bengals Browns, nobody cares. Saints Raiders, that ended up actually being a good game, but realistically, nobody cares. Dolphins Jaguars, which I literally have in brackets, what the fuck, in our spreadsheet here, because I don't know how that's a Thursday night game. Chiefs Ravens is probably the matchup of the year, and it turned into a bad game. And then this week we got the Broncos and the Jets and the Falcons and the Packers. Like, what is this schedule this year?
What is football? I keep saying that.
Like, I don't know. Like,
fuck.
You had the Bills and the Rams as a 1 p.m. Sunday game, and it was
okay. But here's the thing, though. They have the fucking Ravens and Steelers as a 1 o'clock Sunday game.
Yeah,
stupid. That's a game you should have on primetime.
It's also a divisional game
that you should have on primetime.
How many divisional games do we have on primetime normally?
I have no idea, but there should be more
this year.
Yeah, but there should be more. Realistically, divisional games should be primetime.
Well, Titans and Broncos, and then Bengals. I guess there's a couple.
Titans, no. Titans and Broncos, no.
Are they not?
No, they're in the Titans are in the
sorry, yeah. You're right.
Broncos are in the West. Get the hell out of here.
Bengals and Browns were, though.
Yeah, so like that week 7, who is the primetime game that week? You have the Giants against the Eagles on Thursday night.
Oh, that's going to be an awesome game.
Eagles versus Giants versus Eagles on Thursday night. And then it's the Buccaneers versus Raiders on Sunday night. And then the fucking Bears and Rams on Monday. And you're going to tell me that the Bears and Rams on a Monday night is more of a must-watch than the Ravens and Steelers?
I always want to watch the Chicago Bears play football.
Oh, man. Okay, Buccaneers and Raiders makes sense, okay? That makes sense.
I want to watch Nick Foles sling the rock.
Giants and Eagles? Why is it Giants? You're going to tell me Giants and Eagles are worth more of a primetime game than the freaking...
I want to watch Mitch Trubisky play football.
This is ridiculous. I don't understand how this is the thing.
That all being said, Shane, we are once again right at our 2-hour mark. We got 10 seconds.
Steelers and Ravens are the Thursday night primetime game.
Yeah, so shut up. Like
for Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
But that's Houston and Texans is the fucking 12:30 game.
Houston versus Texans.
Or Detroit versus Texans.
Yeah, that's rough.
Still shit. And that's
Anyway.
Washington versus Cowboys, so nothing new there. But anyways, we've hit our 2-hour mark, so we'll be signing off. Thank you, everyone who has tuned in, everyone who is will be listening this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever find your podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. Video will be up on YouTube literally the minute it's over. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, 13th Man Podcast. On YouTube, the 13th Man CFL Podcast. And remember to check out our website, 13thmanpodcast.com, our Redbubble page, 13th Man.
Also on that front of our website, we're looking for NFL writers right now.
Yeah,
so if you're interested in writing for an NFL team, generic or general NFL content, send us a DM on Facebook, Twitter, send us an email at the 13th Man Podcast at outlook.com. Tell us who you want to cover, what you're interested in doing. And we'll be excited to bring new guys on as well. Also, Mike, to answer your question here, we will normally be 6:30 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesdays, but since the NHL draft is next Tuesday, so
at like 8 o'clock, so we could go live, but Frankie rather not go live.
We could, but also I'm gonna have a 4-hour show that night, so I'm going to definitely rest my voice because this is very grueling on my voice. And we'll be live Monday night at 6:30 Eastern time next week.
Yeah, so like Frankie said, we're usually here Tuesday night, 6:30 to 8:30 o'clock Eastern. Next Monday, we'll be here 6:30 to 8:30. For myself, find me at Shane_Ryan97, Frankie at 613 or HPR_Frankie13. If you're hockey fans, check out his HPR Hockey Podcast podcast. What is it? Just
Hockey Prospect Report.
And then follow me if you're a Sens fan or just like hockey because I talk hockey at the Sens Hour, Sens_hour on Twitter and on Instagram. Thank you, everyone who's tuned in. And let us know in the comments on Twitter, Instagram, what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see. Give us topics that we can talk about on our next episode. Obviously, we won't be talking about the Monday night game next week because they'll be starting by the time we ended. So that's the thing that we'll be doing. We'll thank you guys for joining, and we'll catch you next week.
Also, it's the Falcons Packers, so who cares?
Yeah,
we all know how that's going to go.
Packers